Whitehall Borough Council. August 7th, pledge allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
The council had met earlier tonight in executive session regarding litigation. Residents are to sign in to speak during citizens' requests. Speakers are allotted 3 minutes to present their initial comments. All meetings will be recorded auditorily and visually. Roll call, please, Mr. Priest.
Ms. Book?
Here.
Mrs. McHugh?
Here.
Mrs. Iser?
Here.
Mrs. Petty?
Here.
Mrs. Thomas?
Here.
Mrs. Dobrowski?
Here.
Mr. Deep?
Here.
Mayor Noah?
Here.
Mr. Herman?
Here.
And Ms. Russell?
Here.
First, we have on our list Mark Schweitzer. State and state your name and address, please.
Okay, Mark Switzer, 12 Thurman Drive, Pittsburgh, PA 15236. In over 40 years in Whitehall, I've attended 2 council meetings. In the last month, I've attended 2 council meetings. I'm here tonight, first of all, I want to thank the 8 elected officials who are here. Anybody that puts their name on the ballot, I have great respect for. And I've supported almost everybody up on this stage. Bill V, Linda Book, Republicans, voted for you every time you're on the ballot. I don't care if you're Democrat or Republican. I know you guys want to do a good job, but you cannot abdicate your responsibility to bureaucrats. I'm here because people aren't doing their job. It's as simple as that. Now, I called John Palmieri, the county councilman from the 6th district, about 6 weeks ago, because as I've talked about this water problem that starts on Bronzeville Road, goes to West Club, shoots down a ridiculous contraption that the borough did an easement with years ago. Now you own it, you have to take care of it, and you're not. And then splashes all the water all over Kirkland. So about 6 weeks ago, John met with the county, and somehow my invitation got lost in the mail. And they go, nah, there's nothing we can do, it's not our problem, blah, blah, blah. Okay. I said to John, set up a second meeting, and I will be there. We set up a second meeting, today I had a third meeting. Because of my effervescent personality and my mild-mannered way that I have about myself, there will be a storm sewer put on Bronzeville Road to catch the water coming from Bronzeville, which is a county road. That I was up there last night in the pouring rain. The water comes down Bronzeville Road. It has that, the edge, the curve or whatever, and it curves right into West Club, goes all the way down West Club. That's problem number 1. It will be solved within 1 month. Okay, because of John Palmieri and because of some other nice. Okay, well, thank you. No, that's okay. Now, the second problem is this ridiculous contraption of an easement that starts on West Club. I call it it looks like a slippy slide at a water park. That's the easiest problem to solve of the 3. But yet, 3 road crew guys went up there for 20 minutes to a half hour, did a little bit of work, and got out of it. Listen, put me in charge. I'll charge you $1. Put me in charge of the whole thing. Give me a couple guys, a dump truck, and it's going to take a couple days to clean that out correctly. There's all kind of vegetation, there's dead trees, all that has to be removed. It needs to be weed whacked. It needs to be power washed. I don't know about throwing more asphalt or not, whatever, but that's still a temporary solution to the problem. The third and the biggest triangle here is West Club itself. Everybody says, well, it's a private word, it's a public word. Listen, the police give tickets out on West Club, so therefore it's a public road. You guys shovel. Yeah, I'm not done.
Well, we only have to abide by the rules here.
Wait a second.
There's a lot of people that want to talk.
Okay, I know. Okay.
There's no
You
rules
guys
here.
shovel sno on West Club.
I would like to say I will be happy to give him my time.
Okay, no,
so
we're out of order here.
continue.
Okay, let me
Please,
just finish
you
up
have
with
to-
that. It's a public
Time's
road.
up, Marty.
You know what,
Well,
Linda,
we got your-
I will
we
be
got your
back, I will be
information.
back if I have to,
Okay,
till the day I
that's
drop
fine.
dead, till this problem is solved. And if you had an administration that had the will to do their job, I wouldn't have to be here.
Marty, they're doing their job.
They're not doing their job, or I wouldn't be here.
All right.
And you know damn well I'm right.
So we're gonna go next to Lori Bickle.
I'll just continue working.
Now your second point that I didn't
Lori
make.
Bickle, 19 West Club Drive. I'm the house that has the asphalt that when I was here last time, I thought the asphalt was gonna remove. That's what I thought the consensus was on this board. It's still 2.5 feet tall, 30 foot long. It is still there. The borough people came in for 20 minutes, half an hour to clean stuff that wasn't even long because my husband keeps up with it. He's angry that he has to do their job, okay? We want that 30-foot monstrosity out of our property that you put in without our permission, without our knowledge. The storm sewer is covered up at the very top by Carl Shoemaker, our neighbor, covered it up with asphalt. That needs to be opened up. Take all that stuff out, that's what he just said, and that asphalt's gotta go. Put a new pipe down there and a new another catch basin into Curry. It will take care of the problem. Fourth meeting, 24 years living here, I'm still dealing with the same stupid problem. We're sick of it. Again, last time, the mayor talks to my husband, who doesn't say to Ross, hey, we're having a meeting on Wednesday, maybe you switch your days around. No, nothing. Behind the scenes, what's really going on, people? Yes, it is a public road. You're giving me a ticket for parking. Yes, when you're snow removal, which he couldn't say. This is ridiculous, people. 4 meetings, same problem. Come on. You people understand what I'm saying? Everybody's upset with this community. I'm hearing all this. I was fine when I came in. I'm sitting in the front of the building. People are talking about the problems and what's behind the scenes going on here. This is ridiculous. I want that monstrosity out of my property. We didn't put it in. Get a dump truck, get a Dino, whatever you gotta get, and get it out of there. Where's Carl Shoemaker tonight? I don't see him. Who gives him the right to cover up a catch basin like that? Somebody better check into it. Thank you.
Lori, since you mentioned my name, I was there to help Pat Knezovich. If Russ, if he had asked me when's the next meeting, of course I would have told him.
But you should have just told him that, Mayor. I talked about this last time. If you said, hey, I know you're upset about this.
It didn't occur to me to tell him, but
You know, I don't think it's up to the person to say, hey, Mayor, when's the next meeting? The Mayor should have said, hey, our meeting's coming up on Wednesday. It wasn't like it was 3 weeks from now. It was in a few days.
Okay, all right, well, I'll remember.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor.
All right. Next we have Jay Kirk. Stand and state your name and address.
Hi, I'm Jay Kurt. I live at 4535 Country Club Drive in Whitehall, 15236 for the past 18 years. I'm here to support my neighbors in the water crisis, and I use the word lightly because it just hasn't been fixed for a number of years. I would like to know for our quarterly $24 for this, for the rain runoff, where is that money going? And if it's escrowed, why can't the problem at my friend Pat's house be rectified?
Everyone speaks, but none of you have a response.
Well, no, because I can't talk back and forth because we're gonna address these, details and facts after everyone's spoken.
Yeah, but we did this
Sylvia
last time.
Mulvihill.
What was the name?
Sylvia Mulvihill.
Madam President, there are people outside the door.
Here, I have a room down here. There's room down here.
Yeah, there's seats in here.
I'm Sylvia Mulvey.
If you wanna sit down, there's seats here because I didn't see anyone behind this group.
I live at 4667 Curry Road, 2 doors down from Pat. I've been there for 50 years, and Pat was there when I got there. At first, the gully was okay. In my estimation, that was a natural gully that went from ground, the street above us is Club Drive, and it unfortunately goes straight downhill to the top of our properties. and the water comes straight downhill. And so I think there was a natural gully right there at the edge of Pat's property. And it had been amended, I think, with concrete. I think they should have left it alone, and it would probably still be good. But at this point, it is now filled with very large things, concrete and asphalt, and it doesn't take any, you can't even see it. You can't even tell where the water's supposed to go. I know water finds the lowest place, but I think that water can't even find the lowest place anymore. And so it comes all over into Pat's yard and into her basement, and that's going to ruin her house. That's a very bad thing to have water in your basement. And that was a natural gully, I think, to start with before they tampered with it. But now that they did, you have to get all this stuff out. Maybe you could just leave it open like nature had it. There probably was a way to get water from Club Drive, top of the hill to the down, water to the hill. And that's what, but at this point, it's not working. It needs help. Thank you.
Ryan Rampola?
Yeah, Brian Rampola, 222 Southview. I'm also here to support Pat. I don't think I can add much to what's been said. I commend Marty for getting the county involved, get that catch basin there, which I understand will fix some of the problem. There's still going to be water on West Club going down the hill. I was there last night, little 10-minute rain, and there was a river coming down that the asphalt paved culvert. But halfway down, it went through these two massive rusty pipes. I have no idea what they're there for. Settled at a low point and was pouring into Pat's yard. Within 10 minutes, flooded. So that needs to be fixed. This is a generic problem. Water running off a borough road onto a borough resident's property. Forget the road, forget the resident, forget the yard. This is a borough problem. It needs to be fixed. And it can be, someone said, it can be fixed so easily. You've got a natural gully there, you've got gravity on your side, and you have a drain right down at the bottom. It's a no-brainer. Get your engineer to come up with something, and I'm sure it can be done cheaply, cost-effectively, and fix the problem. Don't keep waiting for people to tell you to fix a problem. That's the borough's problem. Thank you. If you're talking about my comments, we can't hear you. We need to be able to hear you.
No, I was asking now. I'll just finish the last one.
Why don't you hear all the
Not
comments?
just, yeah, because there is. So, is that Cheryl Shepler?
Oh, that's me.
Oh, okay.
Hi. Hi.
And your name and address?
Good evening. Cheryl Shepler, 4807 Baptist Road. I've lived there for 22 years. Of course, I support Pat, but I'm going to cut you guys a break and not tell you about that. I came here about another issue that's been bothering me. I've sat in 2 council meetings here, and I hear a certain council member being lambasted for doing something that she was voted to do. The reason why 3 new people ended up on council is because what I have heard from the majority of voters is people have had it. We wanted new blood on this council. And it wasn't the fact that Phil Lahr, anybody, I like Phil Lahr. It wasn't because of that. It was the fact that nothing was getting done. And to hear somebody come repeatedly for the past 2 meetings that I've been to and to lambaste somebody because they are being transparent is what she was elected on. Bethlyn Eicher promised transparency. That's what we want. That's what the residents of Whitehall Borough want. We want transparency. As far as that goes about the right to knows, I requested a right to know also. It just wasn't Beth Lynn. My right to know, I filed it on February 21st. I am still waiting to hear back from one of them, okay? I've heard back from one, I've paid for it, paid for garbage, some of it was garbage. And the other one, half of it was denied. For Doverdale, it was denied. I am a member of the Baldwin Man Association. I was an officer of that Baldwin Man Association. I was very involved in all that. I would like to see those records before they are destroyed. I am denied half of them. I was told then, by Ms. Wertz, that I could file an appeal. I filed an appeal. I was told by the appeal from Harrisburg that my appeal was denied because I had 5 business days from my original appeal to basically appeal it. Now, how could I appeal something that I didn't even know was going to be denied? Because I was trying to be nice, I was trying to be patient. I don't think the problem is anybody in council requesting right to know, or myself requesting right to know. I think the problem is the way these records are being kept. Perhaps they need to look at a policy where the right to knows are filed appropriately when people go to file. This is not the first time I tried to get a right to know. I tried to get a right to know as the president of the Baldwin Man Association. It was like pulling, I'd rather have a tooth pulled than to file right to know. That's how painful it is. These are public records that we, the people of Whitehall Borough, are entitled to. And it is an awful, awful process.
So, again, the right to know law exists to allow the public to obtain public documents.
Uh-huh.
And that's how it's set up.
It's always a deny, always a delay, always a delay. And if they're telling me from
Ma'am,
Harrisburg,
let the solicitors
I'm sorry.
First,
address.
I don't want to address, again, publicly, you've got an appeal pending, potentially an appeal for the decision from the Office of Public Records. That's really getting to that specific. But, the design of the Office of Right to Know Law is just that. Allow the public to request documents. Now, what the Act understands is that every document is not the only thing that the staff does, right? So there's a built-in setup for an extension of time to do that, and if the request is such that it takes additional time, that information is provided to the applicant and says that it's going to go beyond that, right? Because beyond that initial 30 days, right? Boroughs are waiting for the initial 30-day extension. Beyond that, it's on, the person requesting wouldn't have to accept it necessarily, but based on the circumstances.
I was being polite. I've learned. Don't be polite anymore.
And then part of the, items that are, there are a list of, except, documents are presumed to be public unless there's an exception that precludes them from being released. So, and one example are attorney-client privilege documents, right? If there's legal advice given by an attorney to the borough, that's not a public document, right? If there's information that contains personal information, social security numbers, things like that, that's obviously going to be those are addresses, those are exempt. So in the denial that the documents were granted, all the items that were public documents were granted, the ones that were not were presumably accepted. I don't believe maybe it's half in terms of
Half.
words on the
It says
page,
half.
but not in terms of the documents. There's documents available. I understand they've been available.
Correct, so, I mean, Ms. Shepler, if you're comfortable, I'm happy to talk about your specific information.
Yeah, I'm comfortable.
So, yes, you did file right to know. Your first right to know, the 30-day extension was given on February 28th. There have been subsequent extensions every 30 days until the most recent one on June 28th. You were given and you did provide payment for one of the 3 files that you did request. That was on May 28th, according to my records here. Your most recent payment demand letter for the other 2 files that were sent, that was sent on July 17th. That payment was due today, actually. We have not received that, but the files are available. Once payment is provided, we will make copies.
Real quick.
Ms. Brooke, thank you. An elected official, I've never heard and I've been around a long time, I've never heard that a public official, an elected official, has to file a right to know for information and then subsequently pay for it. It's outrageous. It's outrageous the rudeness that has been shown to Beth Lynn by people in this audience who are bullies.
No, okay, you know what?
Go ahead, Solicitor, answer that question.
Yes.
Again, right. I don't know about any other borough of Whitehall. Councilmen don't have any powers in the council. It takes 4 members of council to act on behalf of the borough of Whitehall. Councilman's a councilman, same thing that a person employed is 3 other people. Right, okay. So when there's information that the borough council desires, Ms. Wertz, Mr.
Russell has with Mr. That they provide the Borough Council's group with whatever documents they need. If there's an individual council member that provides the documents that the other members of council don't think are necessary, then that's an individual's request, and so that takes time. As far as paying for documents, that's a choice that's made by an individual. Because you're certainly allowed to come and inspect documents and take pictures of whatever you want. If you actually want copies made, there's a cost of making copies that the borough has. Further, if there's items that have to get from that group that the borough doesn't have, they have to make a copy of that group, there's a cost. That's the right to know rules, and that's what
I understand, but on the school board, whether I like the member or not one time did any school board member ask for information that they didn't receive within the next couple days. For the right to know for an elected official is an insult.
45 boxes worth of
It's an insult.
information.
I'm not
It's
talking
meant
to you.
for the garbage
You're
man.
a bully, I'm not talking to you.
All right,
People
wait.
wanted to
You
look
know
at
what?
them.
We're gonna stop this right
Put her in
now.
a room, let
We're
her
gonna
look at
move
the
on.
damn documents.
No, you know what? Yes, well, she'll be in there for a year.
I don't care, let her there.
I'll come in with you, Beth
Well,
Ann.
that's right, she could, so, you know, she could.
That wasn't a request.
But, yeah, she wanted copies, and that's what she's paying for, and also $5,000 worth of borough employee time.
Excuse me,
Yeah.
I was told that I was being disruptive whenever I questioned the fact of the matter that the staff was adamant that I was not allowed to photograph or make any copies whatsoever.
Solicitor says.
We talked, the issue was making copies of copyrighted material. The rest of the copies are not copyrighted material. We will read the copies.
And my associate who came in with me that day were demanded to erase our entire phones before we could proceed with our right to know, and it was under grand duress that I had switched to the photocopy, because it was my preference to be able to scan the documents that were not subject to copyright within the time allotted. Moreover, even a stack of the papers that were presented to me was not at all permitted to be photographed.
To be clear, the initial request was to view the documents, which arrangements were made. They're photographing.
We can't hear you. I can't hear you.
So the original request was to view the documents. Time was set up with Zeiger and staff to monitor this so that she could view them. They were not screened for copyrighted material because at that point, Mrs. Zeiger had given no indication that she would photograph it. So the issue of photographing was new at that instant. Given that information, staff let her know that she couldn't photograph things because it had not been reviewed for copyright. Once it had been reviewed for copyright, she would have information to take photo. Mrs. Eicher at that point modified her request for copies. So staff then took that modification request in writing to go through them and provide a price for payment of physical copies. And that is what we've been doing thus far for that request.
I have a
It's been under duress. That is under
Okay, all right.
Can we
You
get
stay.
can we get back?
Can I ask a quick question about the documents real quick, please?
Real quick, please.
So you said that she may not be able to take pictures of certain of the documents. Why aren't the quote-unquote confidential documents kept separately, that she could just photocopy
It's
whatever?
not a matter of confidential.
There's two different issues.
Then with,
There's two different issues, right? There's certain documents that are not public, right? Those are the ones that we have, like, home addresses, personal information, things like that. The documents are available, and the only thing you're not allowed, you have to get permission. First, there's copyrighted material, right? So if it's copyrighted, in order for the borough to release it, they have to get permission from the copyright holder. In many cases, that's been done in this particular request and for some others. So they would actually now be allowed to file the issue request. Once the copyright is released, then they can be copied or they can be photographed, right? So it's not so much a matter of, at this point, separating. It's only, the reason the right to know, the requests are in writing, so it's very clear to the borough and the law what they're asking for and what they're getting. So it's only been a response to what it is. If someone submitted a right to know request saying, I want to inspect the documents and take pictures of them, well, that's a different process. Then it would probably just be given to the cost department to make copies of items that have redacted, it wasn't really redacted public. That's just the process. So it depends on, it's hard to talk about in general, because it depends on the particular request that comes in and how the response is. And people always free to follow the regular requests.
Would we have boxes of material that did not need redacted, that Mrs. Iker could have just simply taken pictures of without having supervision? I mean, because now we're paying for storage, and it's like,
Yeah, right.
well, no, it's ridiculous. Actually, because I've been in the room too. The room was plenty big enough for the 52 boxes, by the way, we don't really have to pay for storage.
I don't think
We're
the
gonna
new
move
balance.
on. You know what?
I mean,
Let's measure it. You want to measure
Okay,
it?
wait a minute.
We'll measure
You know
it.
what? Okay, we're done with that conversation for the moment. Thank you. Amy Howe? Amy Howe?
Yeah, Hoy.
Wait, sorry.
That's okay. Amy Hoy, I live at 4629 Curry Road, Whitehall. So I'm gonna go back to the water problem. So I actually live next door to Pat, and I actually live below, Lori here as well, and then behind the people on at the bottom of the hill of West Club. So I've been dealing with water problem probably since I've moved into my house 18 years ago. So when I bought my house, I put a French drain in the back of the yard myself. I didn't call anybody in the borough. I took care of that myself. And then about 2 years ago, and that probably cost me about $3,000. So 2 years ago, I then put another French drain and a catch basin system in all along my property between mine and Pat's. So that cost me $6,000 because I was getting so much water from that gully from after they'd done the pavement or whatever they did on West Club, coming straight down. My yard was getting flooded. My shed was starting to rot from all the water. So I did that. So I don't know why the borough can't handle doing something just as simple as that. I mean, $6,000 is a lot of money out of my own pocket, but why can't the borough? I mean, we all pay $100 a year toward a water catch system that they can't use part of that water to go through to dig a hole to put a stone in to catch the water so that it dissipates appropriately. So I'm just hoping that that gets solved so that I mean, I still get water, but not quite as bad. But I don't want to get whatever the borough does do. Again, I just don't want them to ruin what I've done already in my yard because I've put a lot of money into trying to keep my house safe. But the rest of everybody else is still having the same issue, and it is, and it's 20 years. It's needs fixed.
Thank you. No, I'm gonna, no. No, yeah.
Go ahead, you can have that.
Next, John, Jane Cassiano?
Okay. Jane Cassiano, 5348 High Grove Road, and I'm the bully, since everybody, whoever does or does not know. First, I want to say that ever since Lincoln's days, the point of government is to try to help fix problems that are too big for individual people to fix. And with that spirit, I understand everybody's intention to help Mrs. Knezovich fix her yard. And I think that's great. But let's call it what it is. It's charity. This is not borough property. It's borough property. I also have water problems because I'm at the bottom of a hill. And we spent multiple tens of thousands of dollars this year repairing our house, anchoring our house, getting an inside French drain and a sump pump, getting an outside French drain, repairing 3 retaining walls. And I did not call the borough. I did not make it their problem. And I just want to know, is this swale on borough property or is this swale on private property?
They put it on my
We're
property.
gonna have the engineer.
Okay, well, did you cede that property to them?
You know, please, don't speak among each other, conversation this way.
Okay, and
Sorry.
if all of these people decide that they want to help Pat, maybe they should be shovel ready. Maybe Mr. 48 Hours could be shovel ready. And you know what, Marty, I got this letter in May of 2023. I think you forgot to put your return address
I
on.
don't know what letter you're talking about.
This letter of disinformation.
It's not under control here, so we have
You're
to,
nothing but a bully.
please stop. All right.
Yes, I am.
You are.
I am. And I'm
Out
proud
of
of that.
order.
I don't like Christmas card list.
Okay,
This is
last
not
we
charity,
have
fix a bar
Marty
of
working on this. Pat Knezelich, please stand.
Worked on it for 20
Go,
years.
Pat.
Okay.
Go for it, baby.
Working on it. Ma'am.
I really am at a loss for words. I've been here so often, asking, begging, pleading, showing my problem. Marty was able to handle a situation in 30 days. This has been going on for months, even years, if we look back far enough. Tonight, I would like to ask for the resignation put in against Courtney Works. I don't think she is capable of doing her job or doing it in a manner that helps us. And that's my last resort. Those words do not come lightly. I'm 86, I'm old, I'm young, but I also have a home that I love, and I will not let inaction on the poor part of our, what do we call this office out here, manager of the borough, ruin everything I worked for, everything that me and my husband work for. It's your responsibility. That is your fucking road up there. And I'm tired of hearing it. I'm tired of hearing whose road is this when I look up and see you up there plowing, salting, fixing, and everything else. Whoever on this borough introduces what I just said for a vote, I want it voted on now. I want her job. She makes $170,000 a year.
One minute.
No,
one
that-
minute
that's
remaining.
incorrect.
Then tell us what she does make.
I'll have to look it up.
Yeah, have her tell us what she
Yes,
makes.
ma'am.
It's more than that.
So you're done with the, you're done?
No, I'm not done. I got 30 seconds.
Okay.
I want a goddamn answer here. I'm tired of hearing, we'll talk about it, or worse yet, nothing. I've talked to all of you. Some of you don't even have the decency to return my calls. And I've had it. I've paid your salaries for. Try. You have no idea what it's like to live on a shoestring and to see everything you work for ruined. If she can't do the job, get her out. And I'm surprised the mayor is even tolerating the inaction and the bullshit we have to
Okay,
take.
ma'am, that's enough of that language, you know what? And
Oh,
this
no,
words- Yeah,
no,
please.
I know what,
You know what?
Linda, I
This
know
words-
what.
She works at the direction of council. And council hired her, and she's here to stay. She's excellent. You're upset. We're gonna move on now.
Speak for yourself,
Oh, well,
Miss
you
Cole.
know what? I'm not talking to you right now. I'm gonna direct the engineer to give a report on what everyone's been talking about, so we can move on.
I'd like to make some comments.
Go ahead, Scott.
No,
You
I
go
have to
first.
continue. Go ahead, Scott.
Sorry.
You
So
will listen.
to answer
while
the
someone's
question, is
speaking.
the swale located in an easement? It is. It's located on your lot.
My property, I want it gone.
Correct.
How many times do we have to say this?
There's a
2 weeks ago,
sanitary,
still
Let
nothing's
them talk
happening.
now.
Go ahead, sorry.
there is a sanitary sewer that's located in that easement. I am not aware of a catch basin
Then you need to go and talk to them.
that was buried.
Talk to Shoemaker.
We don't have information on that. I can defer to the solicitor in regards to the agreement of West Club View in 1972, the conditions therein. in regards to the maintenance of it, snow removal, and paving. As far as at the addition of storm, please correct me if I'm wrong in my interpretation, but the additions of curbs and storm sewers to be installed along West Club, all of the residents of West Club would have to approve that. It's in recorded documents at the courthouse.
So is it public or
Linear.
private?
The easement is public. Is the
I'm talking
roadway?
about my road.
Well, the roadway is public. So the road is accepted. The parkway is public. Stormwater is responsibility of private owners.
Even on the easement?
The easement's over.
Okay, 'cause I don't want any more parking tickets,
Okay.
snow removal, whatever.
So that you're basically saying we're not doing anything then?
24 years we've been dealing with this.
It's up to all of the
This is
residents on
terrible.
West Club to do anything?
The residents
So you just came
I'd
on my
like to start.
property and put an asphalt swelling without my permission,
Okay.
without my knowledge. Well, how do you do
I-
Whitehall Borough people? Can you live with yourselves? I don't know.
Mr. Engineer, let me
Scott,
ask you a
let the
serious
engineer
question.
answer.
Let me ask you a serious question. So if I went door to door on West Club and got everybody who owns a home to sign off on a document that we want the street, like you did on Thurman, you widen the street, you put 3 storm sewers in here, then you're telling me that you and the borough will then do that on West Club, yes or no?
I can't make that decision.
You
That's
just
a council
said-
decision. I'm
Okay.
explaining to you what the conditions, current conditions are.
Okay, I want council then to commit that if I do the work and get the people to sign, you guys will commit to widening the street, putting the 3 storm sewers like you should be doing. This pipe that people are talking about is not gonna work. But your pipe system's not gonna work either. You've gotta do on West Club what you did on Thurman. And if council will
You
agree
can't
to
work
that,
if it's
then
covered
I
up.
will
Okay,
go
please.
door to door.
How about cleaning out the gully first?
Can I,
That's the
can I,
first thing.
can I say,
The
That
borough
might go
manager
a
didn't
lot.
want it cleaned out.
Councilwoman wants to speak, please.
Real quick, so that is a potential solution. Is it the best solution? Is it the only solution? No, but we're
Yes,
here,
it is.
we're having conversations.
No,
Like,
no,
we're-
that is the solution. I don't need conversation. That is the solution. This thing about a pipe and a gully and all this other BS, it's all BS. I've looked at this for 3 months.
Mr.
That's the
Schmautzer.
solution.
Thank you for your opinion.
Well, it's not my opinion.
All
You know
right,
what?
I-
You know
I-
what?
have my
vote,
Mr.
Schmutzer.
You have an
Okay, we're getting
Actually,
three,
you
You know what,
three
this
more while
meeting's
you're
out
at
of order, we have to move on, the mayor would like to speak.
it. Get some action.
First of all, Marty, I want to thank you for taking care of the Brownsville Road. I mean, that's
It's only
gonna,
1 out of 3.
I know, that's gonna be a big help.
You're
And I
welcome.
think we should acknowledge, Marty's work.
No.
No, I know, it's gonna have a big improvement. It's gonna be a big
So I'm
improvement.
Whitehall Man of the Year this year?
Okay.
Yes, you
Yeah,
are.
you gotta do a little bit more.
Yes, you
All
are.
right, second thing is, talking about the asphalt. So, years ago, we all know what's happening here. Water's coming up Brownsville Road, and in the borough it has borough-wide, you cannot put water in your sanitary sewers, and so people were bringing it out and dumping it, onto the roads. And in other parts of our community, there are storm sewers that take that. There are no storm sewers on West Club Road. So it's different than people getting water coming down a hill, because we have a road that is a borough road that we're responsible for, that is generating storm water that's coming down the hill. Now, the asphalt was put in so that it
Without my
didn't.
knowledge,
Okay,
I put
well,
that in there. On property.
you made, I'm gonna just tell you what happened.
There's a storm sewer. up there
Okay,
that's
I'm
covered
gonna
by our
tell you what
neighbor.
happened. Pat
Why
was-
didn't- Why aren't you
All
talking to
right,
him about what he covered
please,
up?
I have the floor.
Sorry, Mr. Mayor.
All right,
Put that in.
all right,
Forget.
okay, well, I'm just gonna explain how it got in, I understand your objection. So Pat was getting water, it was jumping, imagine all this water coming down the hill, it's jumping her property and coming down. That asphalt was put in to direct it down alongside, and then she, on her own, hired a landscaper to actually move, some of the dirt up so it would stay on that side of the road. All right, so it's a temporary solution. The real solution is to pipe it, in my opinion, is to pipe it. I know Marty's shaking his head. Is to pipe it while it's coming down the road. It needs to go in the catch basin and go down the curb. So I don't know that you necessarily need, catch basins all along there, but you need a catch basin where it's all ending up, and it's all ending up at the end of the road. And so you need a catch basin from there to take it down, and I think that would solve everyone's problems. To me, that's the permanent solution. So everybody come out during the budget season, which will be in October. There'll be November, sorry.
First week Saturday.
First week, so come out in November. That's the permanent solution, in my opinion. And then, but for right now, we want to make sure that the asphalt that was put in, apparently, there's some cracks, and we want to make sure there's not water leaking down from the floor of the asphalt. And that's the purpose of the work that the borough is doing right now.
You're gonna still
But
leave that there and cover up the cracks
it's only a
without
temporary.
removing it.
It's only a temporary.
I don't want more. I want it out of there, Pat.
I'm telling you what they're doing.
I can hear what he said he's doing. That's why I'm talking to him.
Can I ask a question?
Go ahead.
Mr.
Say your
Mayor,
name and address.
Judy Clover, Duncan Lane. Does Mr. Russ Meisel agree with your thoughts on this?
I don't know. We haven't talked to you today.
I'm just working within the documents that have been reported. The current situation is there. You have experience, and I've worked in your neighborhood prior.
I have to
Things
say,
can
when
be-
we lived on Doverville, they worked like crazy, saw a little bit flooding there, and they did
They're all
it.
working
Because there's more people over there, so they care more about them.
Somebody also hired attorneys for the press.
Just
An
for
agreement's
thank
in
you for
place.
everything.
Just to mention that the residents of Hurry would have to agree to that. Prior to this, they haven't been able to agree to that.
And I think we might be able to do something at the
Oh, I'm
end.
sorry, West Club.
I think we might be able to do something.
Are we going to clean up the gully? That's my question. I can't wait for the budget in 3 months. I'll be dead in 6 months. And what's going to happen to the gully in my home?
Debbie's bringing
Are we
huge
going
rains
to
this
get
weekend.
somebody in there with a pick and shovel
we'll have to
party
get
suggested?
numbers and what we.
Oh, sure, we've been playing numbers for
No, you
years.
know what,
I'm
William?
done.
We did due diligence and
I
talked
thought for-
about this in February at the meeting.
The last time, 2 weeks ago.
Excuse me,
when we
ma'am,
were
let
here,
me
I know,
speak.
excuse me, but I thought 2 weeks
You
ago.
know what, in February, there was a consensus of council to assist like we did 15 years ago.
Everything keeps getting pushed back, pushed back.
Well,
till
listen,
Wednesday, nothing's ever
Not
done.
finished, man, you'll find out why. So in April.
I already found out why in 4 meetings.
Okay, in April, we had a consensus of council to assist Pat again with that, the swale cleaning and this, okay? That being said, the next meeting, before the next public meeting, we had an executive session where Ms. Iker stated that Pat was getting an attorney. So all communication had to cease, because we can't talk when we're being sued, correct?
It was to go through council subsequently.
I clarified that
You did,
within
you did, Pat. You
1
did,
week.
Pat.
Ma'am, I'm letting them know the story and how it played out.
Like subsequently, Ms. Burton I met, and she said that she was not, she had not retained counsel, she was back to the district borough.
Yes, we had that meeting in June, and once that was clarified, July when the action was taken in public by council to what they had previously agreed upon.
And that's a month's delay, and that's a reason for that particular, that's what happened with that delay. So
We
we're
were
gonna
2
move
weeks ago,
forward.
and we talked to you people, and I thought people were gonna come, get rid of that asphalt
Now,
that's
we
in
have
there.
to move forward.
Okay, now we gotta wait until
We have
November.
to have a
We waited
plan.
24 years, why doesn't
We
it
have to
get
have a
budget?
plan with numbers
A
and what's
plan.
gonna be approved.
A plan, undo the storage sewer that was covered up with asphalt,
Was it just Whitehall Borough?
clear it out, put a pipe down, and get another drain at the bottom. It doesn't take a rocket scientist.
I need to respectfully say something, please. Something has to be done because there is real damage being done to her house.
I
Like,
understand.
to the extent that, so, and thank you for explaining the history of it, but there's
That's a small
damage.
part, which I know nobody wants to hear, but that's
Yeah.
part of the facts.
But
too.
and there is, something has to be done because the damage is
I
occurring now.
understand. Yeah, we all do.
With all due respect, council voted two weeks ago to
Yes.
clean up that whole thing, and it wasn't
We
done.
didn't say the whole gully.
Yes, you did.
Just swell.
What do you want to be, half pregnant? I mean, the gully is ridiculous. Anybody,
Well, that's not what was approved.
you guys voted to clean it
Yeah,
out.
to clean the swell.
Yeah, and the
Not
borough
entire-
manager
No,
said.
Swell was
I think-
supposed
I
to be
think what's
gone, we keep
gonna-
going to the swell, get rid of that
I
swell!
think what's gonna happen, Marty, is once we know when the asphalt is coming, I think probably the road crew will go up, one more time to make sure that wherever they're laning in the cracks, it's, so they'll look at it, but it was to go down to the tree. It could only go where the asphalt is.
I understand, Jimmy,
Okay,
but
you only
you've
go to
got
the
days
asphalt.
of
So
work
now you
there.
wanna put more asphalt on top of the asphalt, that is not getting rid of the asphalt. Let's keep putting a Band-Aid, put more asphalt on the
We're
asphalt.
not getting rid of your asphalt.
Don't start with me, because you know what asphalt starts with,
You-
2 letters.
You
That
need,
is second
you need a
S.
borough crew, guys, you need a couple days of serious work up there, Jim. You just can't throw asphalt under that, that's a Band-Aid. You need a couple guys and dump trucks of stuff to get out of it.
Well, we have to direct the
I
engineer.
actually think your suggestion, Mayor, of bringing in the Boy Scouts would get more done than what this maintenance department was allowed to do.
And I
So
agree.
you bring in the Boy Scouts.
My husband
and we'll
has a
see.
dump truck, and he will park in your garage if you let him. And anybody who's standing here who would like to volunteer to
it's
clean that
not
out.
these people.
Wait, folks, with this conversation here, we have to settle
No,
down and.
let's
well,
get the
yes,
Boy
okay,
Scouts
all right.
in. Let's get
Okay,
the
so we're gonna
Army
have to
in.
move on.
Let's get the reserves in. Let's get the whole
Okay.
fucking mess cleaned up.
That's not acceptable.
I'm
You
sorry,
said that well.
my home being ruined
Okay,
is
you know
not
what, we've heard
acceptable.
from everybody on your behalf, and I understand the problem, but, we have to be a little bit cordial, okay? We have a councilwoman that wants to speak.
So,
Come on.
Marty, you presented an option, right? The mayor also presented an option, things that have been bouncing around in my head as well.
My option is
From our,
third option.
okay, and right, removing the asphalt, I gotcha. Lori, thanks. So from an engineering standpoint, is there some way that we could potentially look at what is a better option? Is the model that happened on Thurner something that is feasible potentially for West Club? Is that, but we're talking about adding sewers, we're talking about the option of digging everything out, piping from one road to another, like,
Certainly would be an option.
okay,
That's the first project that I sold this to her. One of the borough was running across it
okay.
20 years ago, not 23 years ago.
You did a very good job.
Well, thanks. And so that's an option.
Okay.
Well, I think the question was, well, I think her question is that, I think the question was, if
If
this was a
West Club-
solution,
yeah.
and if it was West Club, people would be amenable to these things, would it not? Yes, well, that's, well, because I think she's asking, would you be able to flesh out something? Well, we would have to prepare a quick plan and an estimate.
Okay.
That's what we need.
Consideration.
Can we as council agree that that is a next best step forward? I realize it's not immediate, I know,
You have to have
but
a
we have to
plan.
go forward in some way and
And a budget.
instead of just,
We have to do something. Yeah, so we'll have,
Here's a suggestion. We have a sanitary sewer line that runs the neck gully. Get your roto-rooter man in there. I asked you, Jim, it's a possibility that line could be leaking under there. When her husband was down yesterday, there's a pipe sticking out with water or whatever coming out of it. At least start in the gully itself. Get the roto-rooter truck, which I understand you have on call
Okay,
or a
Pat, we're gonna-
contract.
as
Can
council's
we
going to
do
direct the next couple of weeks. So we're gonna direct him to do that. It's moving much further than doing what we've been doing and trying to assist.
I'm sure you can find
So
Grantland too.
we will, do that. Okay, Scott?
Somebody in Grant book last week was all these
Okay.
grant things in it.
All right, thank you.
Yep.
Okay, we're moving on to our, public hearing for limited amusement arcades. Joanne, do you know? Okay.
So now is the time and place for the public hearing on the zoning amendment regarding limited amusement arcade definitions. We'll turn it over to Mr. Lett, who's our code enforcement officer and zoning director. He's going to walk through the amendment. After he's done, any member of the public that wants to speak on the zoning amendment will have an opportunity, for or against, the opportunity to be heard in the public hearing. In conclusion of the public hearing, assuming that concludes tonight, it's going to be it's on the agenda.
Okay, thank you. Scott.
Okay, in your meeting materials this evening is a memorandum dated August 2nd, 2024, regarding the zoning ordinance amendment dealing with revisions to the limited amusement arcade regulations. At Council's June 5th, 2024 meeting, Council authorized the advertisement of the ordinance pursuant to requirements in the state municipalities plan code and scheduled this public hearing to be held. The ordinance was sent to the county planning agency, the Allegheny County Department of Economic Development, as well as.
Please cease to speak or go out in the hall and do that. We're trying to conduct our meeting. Sorry, Scott.
As well as the county law library is required by the MPC. Borough has approved the publication of advertisement of this ordinance in this public hearing that appeared in the Post Gazette South Extra on July 18th and July 25th. We have the ordinance that is dated June 12th, 2024. Summary of the ordinance is as follows. Section 1 is the addition of definitions to Part 2 General Legislation, Chapter 180, Zoning, Article 2, for private clubs, convenience store, and grocery store. Part 2 involves, is amended as follows, and essentially what this does is add private clubs as a principal use that is permitted to have a limited amusement arcade, and that is 3 or less amusement arcades, which are incidental and permitted as an accessory use in bowling alleys, convenience stores, grocery stores, high turnover restaurants, low turnover restaurants, and private clubs. Section 3 is the effective date and repealer, and Section 4 is severability. This is typical of any zoning ordinance. In your packet is a memorandum from, is a letter from Carol Priscilla, the Borough Planning Commission Chair, dated July 11, 2024, with the Borough Planning Commission's recommendation on the proposed ordinance, which they made at its July 10th, 2024 meeting. The letter is included in your packet, and essentially they listed several items which I would classify as clerical corrections. The county Department of Economic Development conducted its review, and the borough received a review letter from ECED dated July 9th, 2024, which is also included in your meeting materials this evening. And their discussion involved comments on definitions of convenience, which should probably take consideration for Borough Planning Commission work on approach. So that concludes my presentation.
Is there anybody from the public that wants to speak on this particular ordinance?
I do, that this entails not only the games of skill that we're used to, which is the claw machine for getting a stuffed animal prize. However, it also entails the opportunity to win cash prizes, as these are the so-called Pennsylvania skill games. They walk like a duck, they quack like a duck, and by goodness, they look like a slot machine to any person whatsoever. So if it isn't a structure that would offer some societal benefit like a social club, then absolutely positively not, no.
No.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Any comments from council? Motion to close the public meeting?
I'll make a motion. Gary.
No. It's still going. It's still going. Sorry. There's close the hearing. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Yes, okay.
Ask for a motion to change ordinance in summary 4.
With the words that, with the minor change. By the.
Yes.
Motion. Second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
An ordinance of the Borough of Whitehall, County of Allegheny, Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, amending Part 2 General Legislation, Chapter 1, zoning, Article 2, definitions of word usage, and Article 5, new accessory structures and accessory uses of the code of the Borough of Whitehall.
Watch his face.
Can't hear you. Summary of it, that's what. No, I apologize, I'll start over. It's an ordinance of the Borough of Whitehall, County of Allegheny, Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, amending Part 2 General Legislation, Chapter 180 Zoning, Article 2 Definitions and Word Usage, and Article 25 Accessory Structures and Accessory Uses of the Code of the Borough of Whitehall to add the definitions of private club, convenience store, and grocery store. To add private club to the list of enumerated commercial uses where limited amusement arcades are permitted as accessory uses in the borough, and to require all enumerated commercial uses where limited amusement arcades are permitted in the borough to have security monitoring during hours of operation. You're welcome. So I ask for a motion to adopt ordinance number 1175.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made, second. Roll call, please.
Ms. Book?
Yes.
Mrs. McHugh?
Yes.
Mrs. Eicher?
Yes.
Mr. Lucetti?
Yes.
Mrs. Thomas? Yes. Mr. Zegarowski?
Yes.
Mr. Bean?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Yeah.
Thank you. Okay, next we have our bills and payroll.
Administrative Services, Mrs. McHugh.
In order.
Planning and Zoning, Mr. Lucetti.
In order.
Public Safety, Mr. Deep.
In order.
Public Works, Mrs. Eicher.
I have a quick question for you, Ms. Schwartz. There were several charges to Lindy Paving entailing asphalt for paving, asphalt for patching, and asphalt for patching again. And so where was this applied?
It's throughout the borough, Public Works keeps an ongoing list of potholes and repair, patches after winter, and in some cases, residents working their driveway for patching and repair.
It is, to my opinion, that no such asphalt was applied on the swale of Curry Road to West Clifton, correct?
Correct.
Okay, that's in order.
Recreation, Mr. Zegarowski.
It's in order.
Storm Sewer Fund, Mrs. Eicher.
I will read aloud what is the Storm Sewer Fund bills. There are only 3 of them, is simply because a resident asked what is their storm water fee going to. Jordan Tax Services, Inc. takes a commission of our storm sewer water processing claims. So for the privilege of dealing with those fun folks, Whitehall pays $140.38 this bill period. For the project that was at the Wyman Road storm sewer, it was an emergency rehab, which is appropriately coming out of the emergency stormwater fund, which was allocated for $50K for the entire year, and a little over $35K was utilized in the repair of the Wyman Road storm sewer, which was an emergency job. Yes, we do emergency jobs, not just in the budget period. Thus, there is $13K remaining in the emergency sewage fund. Moreover, the borough pays a note to West Banco in the amount of over $25K per month. If you add up all the payments that we make in an annual year, it is about half of what we bring in for our sewage fund, such that it should be increasing in value, as it is indeed a sinking fund within that contractual agreement. And this is the best that I can do to dissect these figures, considering that these numbers are not appropriately audited within the borough audit that we experienced last meeting, due to the fact that the stormwater fees are intermingled with the sanitary sewage fees, which is not appropriate with the West Banco contract. Moreover, we are not using generally accepted accounting principles.
Well, that's another form of accounting principle that is accepted by the auditor, that's been said at 2 different meetings at length, and so we're gonna move on with, prove that, or?
So with the over 800K that is brought in via our stormwater fees and the late fees thereof, that concludes my report, and these bills are indeed in order.
Sanitary sewer fund, this is accurate.
In order.
Local fiscal recovery fund, this is the field. In order. Capital projects fund, this is the field. In order. And ask for a motion to approve bills under the list dated August 7th, 2024, from the general fund totaling $64,971.11, from the storm sewer fund totaling $62,240.19, from the sanitary sewer fund totaling $330,549.05, from the local fiscal recovery fund in the amount of $225,765.51, and from the capital projects fund in the amount of $29,046.50.
So moved. Second.
Motion made second, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
I have a quick question.
Yes.
I see under administrative services, Comcast business, we put in trunk lines with fiber internet. I was just curious about an update on the recording of meetings. And I guess that was an integral part, so wondering if we were any closer, since I guess we paid for something like fiber optic.
So I'm in the process of soliciting quotes. I'm hopeful that I will have at least 3 towards you at the next council meeting. As far as the Comcast upgrade, I spoke with them this morning. The bills are about, there's 2 bills outlined with the credits that have to be adjusted, and our speed increase that I spoke about previously will take effect on September 2nd.
Okay. And then you guys want excessive donation of, I said I might have money I could get donations for.
Donations for what?
For the recording of the, 2 years ago, I said I had, pledged donations.
I don't think that was even possible at the time, and now, we still have all that to be worked out. Okay, let's, where are we at here?
Next, I ask for a motion to approve the ratified, checks and transfers to be ratified from the general fund in the amount of $39,882.95, from the sewer fund in the amount of $394.24, from the payroll fund in the amount of $57,675.13 for a grand total ratification in the amount of $97,952.32.
So moved. Second.
Motion made and second, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
And then I'd like to ask for a motion to approve payroll, or to ratify payroll from the pay date of July 26th, 2024, in the amount of $224,848.49.
So moved. Second.
Motion made and second, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
There is an overturn list attached.
Okay, thank you.
I'm sorry, quick point of order, Madam President.
Yes.
Courtney, could you do me a favor? Look at number D on the agenda. It had no number for local fiscal recovery, but I believe it was the 225. But underneath that, I have a 2022 construction fund for the number for the local fiscal recovery.
Yes, that is a mistake, so.
Can we just, I just want to make sure we get that.
Clarify, the amount listed on the agenda for local fiscal recovery fund is zero. There's a typo, what the amount is listed under the 2022 construction fund.
You read, you read the numbers correct.
Correct, yes.
The agenda, if the motion was correct, it's okay.
Okay,
Because
thank you, typo.
all the items listed on the agenda, it gave you,
Okay, we'll correct the post amended agenda that shows the correction of
Correct.
typo.
I just wanted to make sure I wasn't missing
No,
something, so
that
thank
was
you.
a typo.
as long as the motion that was read was correct.
Correct, yes.
Perfect, awesome, thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, now we have the approval of the minutes.
I have one correction.
Oh, yes, ma'am.
On page 7.
Page 7.
Page 7, the second paragraph from the top. It's Aileen, A-I-L, we're Birmingham in the middle. You see that? It's 400 birthday. Her name is spelled A-I-L-E-E-N. And then you might as well throw in her middle initial L and then Birmingham.
Thank
That's
you.
it. Okay, with the correction, I'd like to make a motion, we approve the minutes from the July 17th.
So moved, or second, sorry.
Motion made and second, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Okay. Next we have report from Mayor Newman.
All right, first item I have is the monthly report for July 2024. EMS assists for 167. Court hearings pre-trial, 66. There are 4 numbers that are exactly the same as 2023. This is 1, there were 66 in 2023. Accidents, 14, same number in 2023. Criminal arrests, 22. Traffic stops, 103, same number in 2023. Traffic details, 49, same number. Traffic violation citations were 100, and traffic violations warnings were 82. Monies collected turned over to the borough during July 2024, total $2,326.52. Chief Gregoric and Deputy Chief Cable attended the Pennsylvania Chiefs of Police Association Conference in Erie, Pennsylvania on July 22nd and 25th. Good conference, Chief?
It was a good conference.
Sergeant Mayburn completed.
It was a good conference.
He answered my question. He doesn't want to elaborate, you know.
They had a conference area with police cars at their lights flash. So we could see equipment. They had a couple speakers. Some were good, some were boring. But all in all, it was a good conference.
Did you learn something new, Chief?
I did. I always learn something.
Awesome, thank you. I'll take it.
All right. Sergeant Mayburn completed TASER 10 instructor training at Jefferson Hills Police Department on July 22nd, 2024. He will now certify our officers to use the new TASER devices that were delivered for shooting. So a lot of the training we try to do in-house, not hire people from
the outside, and saves money.
Last year at the conference, we demonstrated these tasers and we bought them this year.
Personally?
The water line replacement project on Baptist Road is nearing completion. The contractor moved to nighttime operations this week. Crews will be working from 7 p.m. to 5 a.m. Monday through Thursday. So if you know anybody on Baptist, once complete, they will pave Grove Road and then move to Baptist Road. The contractor did fix the low spots on Grove Road this week, the week of the 23rd, and I do believe, I can verify that. I did drive over the road. I think they did the job, so thank you, Scott Russell. All right, moving along. I also attended my Pennsylvania State Mayor Association conference. It was a terrific conference. We had the Lieutenant Governor, the Attorney General, the Speaker of the House of Representatives, and a number of other prominent speakers who great topics. And yes, Ms. Thomas, I did learn a lot at that.
Fantastic, I'm glad to hear it. Gotta learn something.
Thank you. I did, following the conference, I did present the proclamation to Aileen Birmingham over at the Paramount, and she had a nice little party going there, and I came in, made the presentation, and she kept interrupting me, and so some of her relatives wanted to stop her. I said, no, it's her birthday. She can interrupt me as many times as she was. And she's just was a delightful person, and I enjoyed making the presentation. It's a good birthday celebration, and they had it on Zoom, so people, all her relatives in other parts of the country could participate. Next item I have is to announce the awards that will be presented on Community Day. So the first award is the Person of the Year, and that's going to be Mark Christman. You know Mark. Mark is on our zoning hearing board, but if you know anything about our Person of the Year's award, you have to have some celebrity. And Mark has been really active in promoting awareness and cures for facioscapulohumeral muscular dystrophy. And there was recently an article in the Tribune Review, so he's done a phenomenal job. I'm looking at a resolution that was adopted by the Congress on this subject. Mark had a hand in that, and so he is our Person of the Year. We're also giving 2 community service awards for the work that has been done in the Baldwin Manor Association. Those awards are going to Sean Crane and Michelle Crawley, and Michelle Crawley was instrumental in getting the grant for the Baldwin Manor Association, and Sean Crane has been donating equipment and services for years, and both of them deserve recognition for the work that they're doing in the park that we all enjoy, because it is a public park. Then we got one Good Neighbor Award. Some years we get many, there were a couple years we didn't get any, but Dennis Stump is the person who's going to get a Good Neighbor Award. I talked to him today, and so those are our awards, which will be presented 11 o'clock right now. Introduction of elected officials and awards at Brennan Plaza, so it will not be at Snyder Field like it has been in the past. So if you want to be present for those awards, please come at that time. And lastly, I'd like to praise West Management for the garbage.
Waste
management. Did I say that? Management? West.
West
Management. For the partnership that they've engaged in with Whitehall Borough with regard to recycling. So I decided to bring this box. We got 16 of these, and I think they're phasing them out. I'm going to show this because I want you to find these on Community Day. Okay, now, There are 8 that will look exactly like this. I don't know if all 8 will be put out, but wherever they are, wherever the locations are, there'll be one of these. Then the Whitehall Committee for Environmental Action is putting black over this only, and we will put recycling on there. We will put what items will be recycled. Okay. Now these boxes will be, and they were donated for free by Waste Management. Waste Management. So sorry. Thank you for it. It's been a long day. There will be bags in these so that the whatever liquids or whatever doesn't get on the cardboard. The Public Works Department said they have bags both for the trash and for recycling. What will happen is we all know that nobody, it's highly unlikely that the only thing we're going to find in the recycling is recycling. So there will be other items. People will make mistakes. We understand that. The Whitehall Committee for Environmental Action will remove all the foreign material that may be in there, and we're working on the process. It will be packaged up again and then held. And what Waste Management, again, this is part of the partnership, they have agreed to deliver blue toters. These will be delivered Monday after the event, and I think it's a one-time deal, and they'll pick up the toters later. So we'll use them just for this event. We're going to put the recycling in there, although I don't know this for sure, but presumably it would be when our recycling is. I mean, that's when they would have a truck. Or do you think they would come?
I would have saw the list from Jerry and JR on Monday.
They will pick it up on
They'll make a special trip
on Monday to pick it up. When are they delivering the toters? Okay, well, that's what you were talking about. Yeah. So at any rate, well, just suffice it to say that we have an agreement from Waste Management to provide these blue toters, and we'll get them. And if they're going to be picked up on Monday, we'll make sure that all the recycling is in there. And I want this to be on the public record. I promised Kathy Depew, if she was not happy with the handling of this matter, that I would give her a $25 gift card to the restaurant of her choice. So I have a lot of pressure here to ensure that this not only meets the standards of the borough, but the very high standards of Kathy Depew, and I'm happy to do it. So
by pushing you got it done before the night before. Good job, Catherine.
All right, well, that's all I have.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I want to say that was much appreciated and that you worked at it from the corporate responsibility angle. Great job.
Thank you, Mayor. Next, our solicitor's report, Mr. Furman.
I do not have a report this evening.
Okay, thank you. Next, we have our engineer's report, Mr. Westmeister.
Thank you, Madam President. The report reviewed with you this evening dated August 2nd. Under item 2, operation and maintenance plan section, under the 2023 spotlight repair contract, I'd like to make council aware that State Pipe Services has completed that project. They have submitted their first and final pay application. We reviewed it, it's in order. The recommended motion is to approve pay application 1 and final in the amount of $53,216.95 for the 2023 Whitehall Borough Sanitary Sewer Spotlight and Repair Contract to State Pipe Services Incorporated.
Any questions? So moved.
Well, seconded.
Oh, I didn't hear you.
It was moved twice.
Okay. Motion made and second, all in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, and motion carries.
Okay. On page 2, under the 2023 Capital Lighting Program, JetJack is continuing work under that contract. They have submitted their first payment application for consideration. We reviewed it. It is in order. The recommended motion is to approve pay application number 1 in the amount of $171,490.30 for the 2023 Whitehall Borough Sanitary Sewer Capital Lining Program contract with Jet Jack Corporation.
So moved.
Motion made second, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries.
Okay, continuing under the operation and maintenance plan, all of the projects for the O and M were bid out. We'll start with the 2024 CCTV inspection contract. 6 bids were received on August the 1st, 2024 for the Whitehall Borough 2024 CCTV inspection contract. Boro Service Company was the lowest qualified responsible bidder with a bid amount of $141,265.05. The tab has been attached to the report. The recommended motion is to award the Borough of Whitehall 2024 CCTV inspections contract to Roto-Rooter Service Company with a bid amount of $141,265.05.
Second.
Motion made second, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries.
Moving on to the second O&M contract, the 2024 sanitary sewer excavation repair contract. 2 bids were received on August 1st, 2024 for the 2024 Whitehall Borough sanitary sewer excavation repair contract. Roto-Rooter Service Company Roto-Rooter Service Company was the lowest qualified responsible bidder with a bid amount of $361,265.04. Again, that bid tab is attached to the report. The recommended motion is to award the 2024 Whitehall Borough sanitary sewer excavation repair contract to Roto-Rooter Service Company in the amount of $361,265.04.
So moved.
Second. Motion made second, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries.
Okay, 2 bids were received on August 1st for the Borough of Whitehall Capital Lining Program. Jet Jack was the lowest qualified responsible bidder with a bid price of $388,100. Bid tab has been attached. Recommended motion is to award the 2024 Whitehall Borough Capital Lining Program to Jet Jack Incorporated with a bid amount of $388,100.04.
Second.
Motion made second, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries.
And the final bids received, they were for the spot lining contract. There were 2 bids received on August 1st, 2024 for the Whitehall Borough Sewer Spot Lining Repair Contract. State Pipe Services Incorporated was the lowest qualified responsible bidder with a bid amount of $88,400.00. Bid tab has been attached. The recommended motion is to award the 2024 Whitehall Borough Sewer Spot Lining Repair Contract to State Pipe Services Incorporated with a bid amount of $88,400.00.
So moved.
Second. Motion made second, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries.
Can I ask a question? All right. I think this will help me, but also other people. So we just approved a spot lining repair contract and a capital lining repair contract. Help us understand the difference between the two.
Simply put, it's the length of the liner.
Okay.
Some sections or segments of sewer may have a defect or a crack or so on. Using my hands here, typically spot liners are 6 feet and under.
60 and under, okay.
Where some of your line segments for your sanitary sewers would be in excess of 300 feet. And that would be one continuous liner that would be installed inside of the hose.
Yeah, perfect, thank you.
One follow-up question on that. Thank you for that explanation. What part of this, if any at all, is responsive to the road grant?
There will be sewer televising will possibly be used for the road grant in that project, but these are standalone projects. Those projects will be bid out a little later.
Yes, it's just quite a bit of funds, so I wanted to make sure that the grant funds actually get applied. Thank you.
Under on page 3, under item 4, just let council know Overlook Park has been nearly completed. The asphalt paving has been installed. The rubberized surface was installed. I will let you know that it was quite a challenge to get off of the rubberized surface. There's like a 24-hour curing time. Some fences, temporary fences had to be installed for the finished surface.
Of course.
So, we are working through the contractor to, close out the contract, finalize things. There is a few things that are gonna have to be corrected. But the only thing that is causing the park not to be open is the railing for the large section of the steps. The material that was delivered to fabricate the railing was flawed, so it had to be rejected and sent back, and it's being fabricated currently at this time.
You're looking at me, so I'm gonna ask the questions. We have an estimate of when the final inspection might happen and we can open the park?
We hope to have the final inspection can be done now. Obviously, the railing isn't there unless it's open up, just for safety concerns, but
That's a big stair.
quite a long
That's
section
a big
of
step.
stairs. Maybe we could consider that, open up a little and just leave the stairs closed, that's a possibility.
I mean, I know that's a huge pain cut for the residents that live on top, but I also know they could wait for.
Sure. Yes. So landscaping is ongoing? My next visit is planned for Friday, so I will look at that. We'll certainly be able to update this place.
One more follow-up question on that. Very great news, by the way, and I commend you for your progress reports on that. We discussed last council meeting about the repairing of the Spring Valley stairs, and that I understood was going to take some time to allow the bidders to be able to be in the property and see the space. So I wanted to make sure that that time was not going to distract from the opening time of the other stairs and of course the playground.
Well, thank you, Ms. Lightfoot. Just to let council know that we are working through the contract documents for phase 2 for the Spring Valley stair system. We are planning to advertise that project this month. But no access to that for inspections and review by the potential bidders will not be available for that park. And again, we don't anticipate really the phase 2 project occurring until after the calendar year of the year.
Outstanding, thank you.
Under item 12 on page 4, under the pavement maintenance program, just to advise council that the curb and drainage work will be starting next week, August 12th, and tentatively scheduled for the milling of paving to start on the week of the August 19th. And that's all I have to report on this evening. If there are any questions, certainly address them.
Questions from council?
First of my report is in regards to the pension committee meeting. The pension committee met on July 31st with Oh, no, can you hear me? Yeah. Okay. The pension committee met on July 31st with representatives from Macahop and CIM. I'm happy to report that both pension plans are performing really well. They are both well managed and well funded for both of our third-party representatives. Historically, our performance on these plans has been above market, and our current funding ratios increased significantly from 2021 valuation, mostly due to investment gains, and they currently stand at 88% for the police plan and 103% for the non-municipal. So we anticipate with that overfunding, the MMO calculation will continue to drop. Yes. Next up, I just wanted to give you an update on a few grants that I've been working on. Awards for the ARPA multi-purpose facilities grant that Alyssa, myself, and Paula Kelly worked on should be announced this month. The board meeting date has not been announced, but I've been checking in regularly, so I'm really hoping that we have some good news at the next meeting or the first meeting in September. And just as a reminder, that was the grant for the new lighting upstairs and a new roof for the municipal building. If we are unsuccessful, which we're hoping we're not, there is also an opportunity to pursue a local share account grant. I've had success with this grant in the past for public works equipment. We specifically have done that for the backhoe in recent years. So that's an option. Also, the Public Works Supervisor and I are discussing putting an application for the local share grant for a bucket truck. For those of you that don't know, we rely heavily on Whitehall Borough for their bucket truck, and it is a fantastic relationship. It's great, but it would be nice to have one of those in-house for their use, so that we're not relying on our neighbor as much. And then last but not least, I've been investing in their grant for the solar panel project that will begin later this month. I've reached out to the Whitehall Committee for Environmental Action and the PA Solar Center to help support us in this application. So a lot of different things going on. And then as far as the motion on my report, the Public Works Supervisor has received confirmation from TriStar that an order for the 2 new F-350 pickups that are slated for replacement in 2025 can be placed now. We have been doing that pretty much since COVID, given the long lead times for both police and public works vehicles. So this ensures that our fleets remaining top notch and we're not experiencing any delays. No payments for delivery will happen until the new budget year. This is just an asking for authorization to place an order for these two pickup trucks for 2025.
Hold on, I have a couple questions before we get into that. One is that we had applied for with codes for Public Works to have a wood chipper. Did that funding ever come through?
No, we were not successful in that grant application.
Okay, all right, and moving on to the trucks. For one thing, it's not in the budget for this calendar year. You're discussing for the budget for 2025. However, what you're discussing is akin to what happened last calendar year before this body with the fire department truck, and it happened to be a fire department bucket truck that we wanted to make sure that we could place the order before we could have the funds allocated. And this time, here we are in just saying that we're going to do this. What's to stop us from saying, oh, geez, we didn't have any money for it? Well, once it comes to the November budget time. There are a number of alternative fuel and EV grants to consider from the Pennsylvania Department of Environmental Protection that are available between now and December 20th. However, what it is directly recommending is that we purchase not only a specific version of a diesel truck, but a very, very specific thing, and where the fire department received all sorts of pushback regarding their brand choice when they have very specialized needs with their garage, when our public works can take really any make and model of garage public vehicle truck. Allegheny County even has a clean air fund funding for municipality vehicles. That is still open between now and September 23rd. We have federal funding still available to us by the Inflation Reduction Act, and I can't believe this is true, but despite the fact that we did what we did with the COVID money, because they get on Overlook Park, they are still interested in helping us fund our public works vehicles with other methodologies just as long as it's diesel. Well, I have previously reported in my public works report that Baldwin Borough has gone with EV vehicles with their public works trucks. Is there any effort to discuss with them as to how that decision came about and whether or not these vehicles would perform in similar terrain as we experienced in Whitehall?
Beth,
yes.
Are you asking the manager
No. I have a very detailed list of exactly how this should not be at all discussed right now, and it should be at least tabled before we can fully investigate this. So here I am on the Baldwin Borough. We should at least discuss with them their experience with their EV vehicles for public works trucks. As I previously reported as well, Baldwin Whitehall School District has acquired a new fleet of school buses for via EV, via similar grants without any cost to municipal taxpayers. And since these are very heavy ton vehicles that are running on our Whitehall roads, maybe we should have a conversation. Furthermore, there is no communication as to why diesel or this particular model is the only viable option, and the only viable option which I demand a report from the superintendent of public works without this game of working through the borough manager to explain such an engrossed expenditure of our public works of at least $150K.
Okay, Bethlen, we're gonna.
Look, I had 8 points, and I'm on my 8th point that we budgeted for 37K for fuel of our trucks. Why would we continue to burn this with more diesel than we had in the past?
I don't know where you wanna go with that.
If council wants to investigate into electric vehicles, that's your choice. I need to be directed to do that. This is simply.
Sir, if you wanna say something, stand up in the you.
Me?
Or you wanna stand up and say something, your name and address?
Bill Marcus, 2027 Provost Road. I think the Baldwin Borough electric vehicle for public works that you're talking about is a supervisor vehicle. I can tell you right now that an electric vehicle will not work for snow removal, 100% hands down. That's why they picked the diesel trucks. They last longer, less maintenance, but EV is definitely not the way to go for a public works vehicle.
So follow up, Mr. Harris has been very clear in the previous budget meetings. This is what works for them. For all 2 years ago, under the previous supervisor, we did have a slightly different truck model that they found wasn't working for them. It seems to be working well. They've not reported otherwise. Again, this is simply just something we've done in the past with both public works and police vehicles to get ahead of delay orders. Right.
Okay, with that in order, I'm gonna make a motion that we place the order for 2 Ford F-350 pickup trucks for 2003.
Is there a second? I'll second that. First, the name, second, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
No.
Okay.
And then last but not least, and if those of you that sat at lunch with me at the senior exit interviews earlier this year may recall Dr. Lutz approaching myself about a collaboration on a district-wide calendar for the 2024-2025 school year. So I'm happy to report that Alyssa did attend a meeting last week with representatives from the school district and Baldwin Borough, and she's going to elaborate on how that collaboration is moving forward.
Yes, we're very happy to have the opportunity to work with the school district and surrounding municipalities to create a cohesive and informational source for district-wide events. The calendar will be of no cost to the borough and will highlight borough council meetings, recreation events, and other borough events. Pictures of the Whitehall pool and summer camp will be featured in the calendar for the months of July and August, so look out for those. The district calendar had previously only been distributed to the students, but the school district is working with sponsors to potentially mail the calendars to households in both boroughs and Baldwin Township. The final edits have been sent over today, and we are very excited to present a community-wide collaboration.
That sounds great. Thank you.
Quick question on the manager's report about the solar panel project.
Yes.
Do we happen to get, since we are bidding it out later this month, do we get like a cost analysis of when these panels will pay for themselves? In savings?
If you recall, we previously pursued this through Connect and we were hoping to not have to bid it, but as a solicitor, and it does have to be bid, it's not executive, and it's major utility. So there were, I believe, 5
yeah, because they were different, right? Because we had
It was done through a different process, yes.
Yeah, I can tell you
So
that.
they could, would that be an okay parallel to what we're doing now? I mean, is the scope of the project pretty much the same as the previous project that we kind of
It's
described?
similar, yeah,
So
I don't
could
say
look
it's
at those
exact,
and-
but it's similar, we're looking at one specific location, the Mertz roof building, the specs have been designed by.
There was like 5 locations.
Previously there were, yes, the project that's being bid, is for solar panels on the roof of the Mertz building.
Just the Mertz part. Just the Mertz.
Sorry, that was the only, the previous bulk solicitation proposals that had been received, that was the one site that consistently fell within the $50,000 budget that council has allocated under capital, that was the logic for starting with that. It also immediately had the most return on investment compared to the other sites.
Is there any other program, just out of curiosity, where we lease the space to a company, right? So then the borough doesn't have the liability of updating panels, updating batteries, et cetera, later down the road. Is that any sort of, is there any companies that do that?
Dawn is answering that for us. She's
Not on
like,
a commercial side,
Not
on
on
residential, yes, but not on the
Okay.
commercial. And I can attest to their
The
expertise.
two of us have solar panels.
Yeah, Eric has.
And we both have that option of leasing versus owning. It doesn't pay for itself. The leasing that you're paying for over the months isn't as economical as buying the panels and getting 30 years of use of the guarantee.
If someone who personally bought my solar panels, I can attest to that. My return on investment, I'm seeing.
Thanks, Doug. What do we have for our manager and city manager? Okay, now we have
Can I just
our,
ask, for the grant that you're waiting on, what state agency or federal agency? The one for the upstairs.
For the library municipal, it's ARPA through COVID funds, administered by the
DCP?
It's got a very long title through different agencies, but it's COVID money that the DCD is administering lots of money.
All right.
It's, fingers crossed, this is a truly once in a blue moon opportunity that Paula and Melissa and
How
I are
much,
excited about.
what's the amount?
Just under $1 million. Yeah, for the roof and new replacement of the roof on the library and admin level, and for relighting on the entire library community roof level.
So they'll actually replace the roof with what they do next one, is that what you're saying?
That's two different projects.
so we'll move on to our committee reports, planning and zoning, Ms. Lucetti.
No update, the next planning commission meeting is next week on the 14th, the next zoning hearing board meeting is on August 20th.
Okay, thank you. Library, Ms. Comments.
Library board will meet next week, but I would like to report that last Tuesday in the community room was the library's Whitehall Reads program. It was a packed house, about 100 attendees there to talk about and discuss American Sirens, the story of the Freedom House here in Pittsburgh that started paramedics across the country. Really amazing stories. If you haven't read it yet, there's still books available to read. There's a movie that was created, a documentary on WQED. One of the paramedics, Mr. Noon, was there. It was a fantastic hour and a half together, really well attended. So kudos to the library, and I know you were there and helping and everything like that. So, yep, Bear was there, Tristan was there, Christy was there. I was very disappointed. It was so good. It was really, really good.
Okay, recreation, Mr. Szybrowski.
Looks like Hannah's here for a report.
I have a short one tonight. We have a big thing going on this weekend. We've been planning since September. Our Community Day weekend is Saturday and Sunday. Saturday we start with a race, and then we continue on throughout the day and end with a concert. I just looked at our Facebook event, and it looks like there's about 750 people interested in Community Day, so I think it's going to be amazing. That being said, our vendors are actually getting bigger. We've had at least 10 vendors come after the due date to try to see if they could come this year. Unfortunately, because of the space that I've had and rentals and things like that, they are still utilizing our Fall Fest to come, but we will have to take a look at next year to see where we're going to be able to put all of these people, which is great, that we're expanding, that everybody wants to come, but, so if anybody can come out Saturday, that'd be really great. I hope to see you guys all there, and then Sunday will be our pickleball tournament. We're sold out as well on that. We have 16 teams participating in double elimination of the losers bracket, and we do have a new pickleball net that was just put in by Public Works. That's all I have to report today.
Yeah, I see, concession stand working on it.
The concession for the pool, very well. Yes, I'm getting a lot of good feedback from them, and they're great to work with. Any other questions?
Public Works, Ms. Eicher?
I have received some feedback concerning my speech patterns being unnatural to people, and therefore it is hard to follow me. Therefore, under the Americans for Disabilities Act, I will conduct this report in written form, and if the assistant manager would pass that to the manager, thank you. Okay, point number 1. We have trash cans on Brownsville Road that are sponsored by our Chamber of Commerce, which are cleaned out by the Brentwood Public Works Department twice a week. I would like to see this happen in our parks, where we would have suitable trash cans that would be stationary and would have indeed functional lids. Second point, Prospect Park. This is something that I've been talking about for a good many meetings, and here we are talking about it again because in the Public Works budget we have maintenance and repairs for $100K. The things that need maintenance at
So you gotta get over, you said 100K?
I'm sorry, 10K. Yeah, that's part of it. Thank you. So there's the concession stand needs to be painted, and the fascia board may need to be replaced. There is a seesaw in the park that has been removed, and now there are stump brackets that are situated there. Back in January, I had asked the Public Works Superintendent to go ahead and paint it whenever it was convenient to alleviate any tripping hazards that the brackets themselves may cause. However, this was not at all done. Furthermore, I've made multiple requests to the borough manager of this matter, and it has not yet taken place. This is just such a simple, no-cost sort of thing. I don't know why. Okay, it is difficult and if not impossible to replace the lamps in the ball field due to deprecated materials. These light poles could be retrofitted with more modern lighting materials. A citizen actually did approach me about joining the Public Works Board if we can ever have a Public Works meeting, which I have invited him to attend.
What do you mean by joining the Public Works Board?
Because I wanted to assemble a Public Works Board or add members from the citizens to this committee. To create a Public Works Board or to extend the Public Works Board to community members. This gentleman is a retired lighting engineer.
There is no Public Works Board at all.
Yeah, exactly.
So it has to be creation. If you're not expanding it, this would be a creation that would.
Yes, exactly. And this is something that I've been trying to propose in the Public Works Committee. Should it find this committee appropriate to meet? And the next meeting would be as our calendar dictates, on the 27th. Okay, and this lighting engineer would like to donate his time to make sure that these poles could be retrofitted for more modern lighting materials, and it is a function of Public Works to go ahead and maintain such things once once the materials that are appropriate would be found. Okay, great. And I call your attention to a map that I've attached on page 2 of the greater Prospect Park area, and we have in highlight from the county, it is the exact parcel plot land that belongs to Whitehall Borough. And I have stuck for your attention the northwest corner, which has become a dump for Public Works. This is not something that has happened overnight. It has happened over generations of time, where we have evidence, if you look over the hill from the basketball court, that you have everything from painted cinder blocks to tires. I'm not quite sure exactly how this came about, but it definitely gives a bad look in the back, and it definitely distracts from the efforts that Mr. Mayor and the Environmental Committee and the Democratic Committee have made last Earth Day regarding its cleanup. Very disappointing. Okay, so because there are all of these issues that I keep bringing up concerning Prospect Park and its maintenance thereof, can the borough manager direct the Public Works superintendent to put these things on a calendar and report back to the borough council as to when these issues would be addressed? Because it's been a year that I've called these things to your attention, that others have called this to your attention, Ms. Schwartz, through different citizen requests, through citizens who've called in. There are people with the Baseball Association that have been in contact with you for quite some time. When can we see some action?
I was just thinking about the baseball. This came up, you brought up that you were talking for GBWAA about their issues.
This was,
Right, doing that in the June
It
meeting?
was the June 5th meeting, because on June 6th, I sent an email to Mr. Seeker, outlining the items that Ms. Eicher had brought up at the previous evening's council meeting, and his response was, Mrs. Eicher 100% does not have our permission to be speaking on behalf of the organization. She attended our monthly meeting last Thursday, which is intended for families, coaches, and players of the association. I did ask him if he was requesting the concession stand at Prospect Park should be painted, and he said to call it a low priority is giving it too much priority. It's just not something on the radar. I did say if that's something we would like done, and have to accommodate that, and figure out what Public Works.
That I do not believe to be true.
It's right there.
As far as the seesaw, we've been aware of that, that it is a stump. That project was put in by an organization called PPS, via a grant. The organization no longer exists. So we have made repeated attempts to the playground manufacturer, in order to get a part number so we can order an appropriate replacement. Thus far, had moved up on that. As far as the tripping hazard, we'll certainly take a look at what is remaining there. If it needs to be removed in its entirety, while we try to get in touch with this organization, we can certainly do that. Point number 3, as far as the lights, the borough does not own those. That was the grant that actually Baldwin Whitehall, what is South Baldwin Whitehall Association? If you athletic association.
Whitehall, so BWAA.
But I think it was the one that predated
So
that.
I think that's the one that had the exclusive right to that. It was the BWAA, and then there was the greater,
Baldwin, which is.
right, which is now, and they merged into.
Correct. So the BWAA was the organization that applied for grant funding. They had those installed, they paid for those, they own and maintain that borough. And then as far as the dump, it hasn't become a dump, it's been a dump for as long as I'm aware of. I don't know if anyone here has a specific date, but it's always been a borough dump.
Yeah, I'd like to see, if we can't get the part on that seesaw, that would be good.
Yes.
Is it removable? You don't know.
I haven't been out there myself to look at it. I will follow up with Sharon to see. But And that
This person's not
organization
there
no
for
longer
the
exists, we don't have any information on who the manufacturer was. We've been doing our best guess, trying to match it up, but we haven't had luck thus far.
Thank you.
Okay, I have additional points. The Public Works does maintain the Whitehall pool. There is $5,000 allocated to that. As discussed in my report last meeting, that a commercial grade shower curtain rods would be desired by a specific resident, but as we discussed, they could not be installed until after the pool season was over. Now, I had heard a contrary report that there were Public Works laborers that showed up on the 25th, but were told by the direction of Ms. Wertz to not conduct the work.
False, the issue with the shower curtains just came to my attention in the past few weeks, and as I applied to that resident, and I stated publicly, we're aware of it, and will install permanent structures once the pool season is over.
Said that at the last.
Correct.
Okay. Point 4, a citizen had contacted the assistant manager regarding McKee Drive and complained about the conditions of Baptist and Grove Road, and there was some discussion about how this would be a state road and therefore a state concern, and it was my impression that it was due to the ongoing utility work that was done by that department, and I do remember seeing a very excellent rundown on things from you, Chief Gregor. Were you able to get in touch with that citizen regarding those roadway complaints?
The citizen did not email me, correct?
Yes.
But we did take care of the road. Oh, no, stop. You're talking about the bumpiness?
Yeah, yes, I was wondering if anyone had taken the liberty to forward Chief Gregor's response to the council back to the citizen.
Yes, I did that.
Fantastic, thank you. Okay, and my point 5 is now moot because it's my understanding that what we are going to do with the asphalt swale is wait for there to be some engineering review about what could be done and what should be done about this matter, and to be hopefully prepared for the next meeting.
I would assume too that I don't know if you know this, George, that asphalt isn't hot asphalt. Anybody would know that'd be a cold patch generally is what it would be hot asphalt. It would be hot asphalt.
Or mixed asphalt.
The one that was waiting for to pour, or the.
Yeah, it was just the.
No, it's smaller batches.
Yeah,
We
small
did
batches.
For potholes, the biggest thing is, after which are generally get calls from residents about their driveway curb cuts. We keep a running list, we have the time and hot asphalt, we go knock those out for residents.
I understand your point on that, distance, so that would be the cold patch.
That would be
The
cold
material
patch?
that goes into the soil.
Yeah, that was hot,
Would
yeah.
be hot.
Sorry, yeah, I wasn't very clear, yeah. On the,
These aren't large orders of asphalt,
Yeah.
these are meant for small jobs, so hot, but let's say on the wall.
Thank you for clarifying because it's was very, very small amounts, which we do budget $10K a year for such material. All right, now point number 6, we have a swale and the asphalt work to be done by Public Works. What I surmount the whole situation to be as to why things had to blow up the way they did under citizens' comments today is that there was a very lack of understanding regarding what precisely is to be done, even beyond among this council members. Heck, maybe I didn't fully understand it, but I did visit the property, since the clearing was to be done. Now, we met last time on July 17th, and Ms. Schwartz said that on July 18th that she would discuss this with the superintendent during their annual business meeting. And what I can gather, what was actually done is some weed work was done on July 24th. That's 5 full business days since then, and the weed did not clear the large vegetation blocking the swale, and it did not extend past the fence that divides 19 West Club Drive and 4929 Curry Road. This is, as a citizen commented, a natural gully that has existed for the 50 years that she's lived there, and perhaps even longer, considering that I had presented some maps of historical value last council meeting as closing out the meeting, that this is perhaps a historical landmark at that, given that it is at the location where there was the railroad for Whitehall, for the original name of Whitehall to be had. So that concludes my report.
Good, thank you. And next we have a public safety.
Thank you, Madam President. First of all, I want to vocalize my support for Mrs. Wertz. I think she's doing a fabulous job in the light. Over 250 households have signed up for the non-solicitation list managed by the police department. Residents can request to be added to the list by visiting the police section of the borough website. That's it. Chief, anything else? The meeting was good. You got something out of the meeting?
Hey, Lisa, I would like to give you a public thank you. My neighbor passed away very suddenly at home. His daughter was with him. I happened to notice, because I was cleaning and looked out the window, that the ambulance was there with no siren. Flew. But there were 2 police cars there, and she came over the next day and she said how wonderful those 2 police officers were. She has a son who has a handicap, and he was in the shower when they came, but they stood there, not telling him he couldn't go in the room, not keeping him out. She said that they just stood in such a professional manner that he didn't realize anything had happened or what was going on. So please, I don't know who they were. It was last Tuesday, but do thank them. They did the family felt they did a wonderful job.
Thank you.
Kathy, you're up for administrative services.
I have nothing under administrative services. I do have one thing under parks. I was wondering how Highland was coming along.
Lisa Furman heard back from their attorney this morning, and they have some comments. They were construction signing it.
Yeah, Liz was the first, they first got back to me.
It's been a bit of a delay on their end. Their attorney was out of the country for a bit, was staying on top of it. And once it's signed, they're going to sign, you can ask for a timeline between the agreements, all that. Their goal was to finish school, so when their school starts, in August, like everyone else, but that's the latest.
Well, the ladies on their part.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
I was wondering.
All right, thank you. New business.
I do have one, 2 matters of new business that I would like to have be noted for in vocalized response as to whether or not we shall meet for the August 27th Public Works public meeting.
You have an agenda?
My agenda is to either discuss the formation of a board once we see who would interested in being involved or adding citizens to this committee, because we have individuals.
Committee can only be.
Okay, well
three
then it
council
has to be a formation of a board then.
So that's a council decision, right?
Yes, I mean, if we were a board, I don't know.
I don't know, I'm curious, what would,
What's your intention of board?
what do we do?
What would they do? But I advise matters of the public works, or with various matters of engineering and other expertise.
We do have our engineers we paid in our public works.
Yes, this is
Very
to
successful.
supplement it.
I really don't know what that would,
I think we're missing the point of what committee meetings are. Committee meeting was set, and I've been on board 14 years. We've never had a public works meeting ever, committee meeting. The purpose of the committee meeting is to discuss an issue that a resident might raise regarding a safety issue, whatever the case may be. Then it goes to the head of that department, and then they organize a meeting. There, as Tristan said, there has to be an agenda, there has to be a reason to meet, not because this is something we want. This has to be a reason that is good for the borough. And we've done it, for example, with 911. The fire department felt the urgency to switch over to 911. That went to public safety, we discussed it. The committee came back with their recommendation to the rest of the council, we voted on it.
Well,
That's how committee meetings work.
Yes, so I have yet another citizen approaching me saying that they want to be involved with advising public works.
Here's the thing, you know, I've been on longer than Bill. With local government, typically the body decides what the agenda is, and it's turned over to the committee. So let's use your public works board as an example. If the majority of council doesn't want a public works board, you've wasted Bill's time, Tristan's time, having a meeting about it. It works in reverse. You need to work it this way. The a majority of the 7 members of council decide, hey, we think we need a public works board. Then it gets turned over to your committee to flesh out the details. But until the majority of the 7 decide, there's no purpose in having a committee. Bill's right. I mean, when the reason we had a public safety meeting on, when we were deciding how the fire company should be dispatched, it was turned over to public safety to flesh out the details and then make a recommendation to council as a body. But no one individual council person has the right to set the agenda. Council has the right, a majority of council has the right to set the agenda. And then if council in setting the agenda
The borough manager
decides-
apparently has more power than any of us combined. She doesn't even live here.
No, that's not true. We direct-
Because you have been able to put things on the agenda with almost less than 24 hours notice, such as these public works vehicles, and it's completely unconscionable how you continue to disrespect me, how you continue to not include me in anything of the public works material where I am supposed to, I did not
How many
until
times have
you
you
got.
asked for any update on public works? Because I've heard, how many times have you asked for any update on public works? So,
I have asked at every single council meeting. I've asked at every single council.
I've not heard that. I've not heard you say what's an update on public works.
Because citizens have been approaching me due to the fact that Ms. Works has consistently not been responsive
that's not
to
true at all.
citizen
You know
requests.
what? We're gonna move on.
Absolutely, positively
That's a
not.
resident
No.
to adjourn.
I would.
Your attitude at this
yes.
meeting, you are taking personal.
You're
affront.
out of line. I call an executive session. I call an executive session for matters
what?
of personnel.
For matters of personnel? Okay, before we do that, I'm going to adjourn this meeting in honor of Faustina Duckworth,
Faustina passed away at the age of 93 on July 30th. Faustina was a proud veteran, having served in the United States Air Force. He earned his bachelor's degree in chemical engineering at New Mexico Western University. And then at the University of Pittsburgh, he earned his master's and doctorate degree in engineering.
And in 2000.
I got a bunch of stuff here. Faustina's accomplishments are impressive and at length. That as brilliant and hardworking as Faustina was in his chosen field, Faustina's passion was serving Whitehall Borough through the Whitehall Public Library, on its library board, as a library trustee, and as an officer of the Friends of the Whitehall Library. In 2004, Faustina was awarded Trustee of the Year for the Allegheny County Library Association. In 2011, Faustina was recognized by then Congressman Tim Murphy and the Congress of the United States for recognition by Whitehall Borough as Citizen of the Year. And in 2012, Faustina was awarded the Citizen of the Year Award from the Pennsylvania Citizens for Better Libraries. Faustina will be greatly missed by his family and friends, and by Whitehall Borough, who benefited greatly from his decades of service. So this is in Faustina's honor. Okay, so we have a motion to adjourn. Motion made second, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.